Stop talking about comic books or I'll kill you. I don't care if the Hulk could defeat the man.
Hey there, comic fans. Bullseye Bob here, and welcome to another episode of Everything Comics. I thought I'd do something new today. I have my comics just came back in the mail from the submissions that I sent off to CGC from the books that I had signed at the Rose City Comic Con. And they finally come back in the mail. It's been almost two months. And so yeah, I thought I'd share that with you guys and let you see some of the comics I got back and what the grades were. I sent off 5 comics to be graded, and loved the last show here in Portland at the Rose City Comic Con. And yeah, this is kind of one of those things that I just love to do. I love to get the autographs of a lot of the different content creators, especially ones that excite me. When I was growing up, I was just like Brian Michael Bendis. He wanted to know who the guys were on the front of the page, on that splash page that said pencils by or written by. And because when I started to get into who those guys were, those guys became my heroes. There were certain writers, there were certain artists that just made things come to life more than maybe other writers or anything else at the time. And so they were my rock stars growing up. And so now I do collect comics, and it's very rare that I'll send a comic book off to get graded. Tell you the truth, I'm not so much interested in grading comics. Just to have the physical comic itself is enough for me. And when I collect a run, I'm not so worried about getting a 9.8 or a 9.6. But when I do get one of these comics signed, I am looking for the grade. That's one of those things that I can leave for my kids later on. Because I'm going to put them on display, I want the nicest looking book possible. And so yeah, when I send off a book that's been signed, I do kind of care about the grade. And so, and then there are certain nuances that go along with submitting books to CGC, and you kind of learn as you go. I was just watching Reggie Collects the other day, and he was talking about he's learned as much from his mistakes as he has by doing. And I'm just going to be honest with you. This is one of those times where I made a mistake. So normally before I submit books or get them signed, I'll usually have them pressed, and if they need a cleaning, I'll get them cleaned. Very important that you do that when you're when you're doing this with books that you're going to be submitted, because a pressing can it can mean the difference between a 9.4 and a 9.8. And so you really definitely want to get your books pressed. And in this particular case, these 5 books, I completely forgot to get them pressed before I sent them off. And so I have no idea what the grades are going to be on this. But I can almost guarantee that it's going to be not as much or as high as I would have liked, because I know I didn't remember to get them graded. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up this box, and we'll kind of see together exactly what I got, and hoping I got some good grades on these. But if not, I may end up having to resubmit down the road, and I do have a few of these books that I know that I can. So here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and open this box up. It came in the mail today, and if you ever send off to have your books submitted when they come back to you in the mail, especially if you've got a number of them, somebody has to be present to sign for them. So I was glad that I was here today after work, and they came at a good time, and I was there to sign for them. Otherwise, I would have had to have waited till tomorrow or another day to go get them. And so I'm glad that I got them today, because I don't know about you guys, but when I see a box or I see the UPS man come or the FedEx man, I get really excited because I got a surprise in the mail, folks. So here we go. Just going to open this up. And as always with CGC, you get the plethora of bubble wrap inside of these things. And so we'll just go ahead and pull these out of the bubble wrap here. As you can see, we got some slabs going on, folks. And I'm really excited to see what we got. I think I remember all 5 that I had sent off. And I'm just going to turn these over. And so the first book I got, let's just see what it is. Here we go. Whammo. There it is. Daredevil number 131. Of course, this is the first appearance of Bullseye. And this is one of my favorite Daredevil books of all time. Of course, I knew it was going to be a lower grade because it did have some damage on it. Let's see if we can see in the back here. I don't know if you can see that, but right in the back here, right inside of there was a little bit of water damage. Other than that, though, it was a very good, in good condition. There were some divots on it, and so some of those divots, I was wondering if we were going to get some paint that was going to maybe come off of there, but that wasn't the case. There is no ink that came off those divots. This is one that I had my buddy Rich at Fallout Comics. When I took it to him, I figured it was about a 5.5 or so, and he ended up pressing it like 4 times to see if he can get those divots out. Worked out great. The water damage, we used to be really pronounced. I mean, it was rippled all the way across the top. Now it's just kind of confined to this section here. And so really pleased. I didn't know what type of grade that it would come back as, but I ended up getting a 7.0, folks. I'm happy about that. That's awesome. So this is probably the only book out of the 5 that I know did get pressed. And so I'm just going to go ahead and call this one a win. Okay, on to the next one here. So that was my Daredevil number 131. Like I said, I'll call that a win because I wasn't sure what grade I was going to get off of it. But hey, 7.0, I'll take it, folks. All right, here we go. The next one we have, yeah, look at that. Here's my Daredevil number 612. This is the Death of Daredevil, but this is the J. Scott Campbell variant. Very happy about this. Again, I didn't get it pressed, so I wasn't sure what type of grade it would come back as, but I had this one signed by Charles Soule. And look at that, folks, 9.8. Can't get better than that. Very happy with that. And just to let you know on that first one, these are all signature series, and in this particular one, you can see right there I had the Daredevil 131 signed by Klaus Janson. And, of course, the next guy that I'm going to get to sign that's going to be Marv Wolfman. He was supposed to come to the Washington State SummerCon this last year, and he ended up having to cancel because he hit his head, got a concussion, and so he wasn't able to make it. And I've had this book. I was going to have him sign it. And so it just so happened Klaus Janson came to the Rose City Comic-Con, so I did have him sign it. 7.0, happy with it. But this one I'm even more happy about. Check this out. 9.8, folks. This is the Daredevil 612. Again, the J. Scott Campbell variant. It is one of the more expensive variants of that particular issue. Signed by Charles Soule. Happy about that one. Come on, check that out. All right, next one. Let's see what we got here. Oh, yep. You know what? I'm not too happy about this one. So I got Captain Marvel number 1. Of course, this one I did get signed by Kelly Sue DeConnick. Was really excited about this one. This one I actually bought at Rose City Comic Con, and I'll just be honest, I must not have evaluated it very closely, because when I got it, it did look about a 9.6, and so I'm not sure why I got an 8.5. I'll have to go to, a lot of times the CGC, they'll have the appraiser's notes, and so I'll have to find out what happened there. Just looking at it, I don't see, oh, yeah. Down here, next to where the staple is, there's some lifting of some ink right there, and I guarantee you that's what brought the value down. And so, lesson learned. Again, I would have wanted to have this pressed. I don't know if it would have given it that much of a better grade, but This one I bought at Rose City Comic Con, knowing I wanted to get Kelly Sue DeConnick to sign it and then, to have it submitted. And because I was there at the Comic Con, I probably didn't evaluate it as well as I could have, because it was an impulse buy, and ended up having some damage. It's not very apparent. You'd have to really look at it to see it, but it is there, and that is probably what brought the value down. So, lesson learned again. When it comes to submitting books to CGC, you definitely, there's so many different variables that go into it. And one of the variables that I don't like to do, that I kind of broke my own rule, was that I bought something there at the con. And of course, because it's impulse, I didn't give it all the thought that I could have to make sure that it got the best grade possible. So, but still, beautiful looking book, Captain Marvel #1. It is signed by Kelly Sue DeConnick. I love her writing. And so, I mean, it's not a total loss, but I really would have liked to have seen this in a 9.6, 9.8. So there's that one. Let's see here. And the next one I got, what do we got here? Bam! That's right. Oh yeah, Marvel Comics Presents. And this is issue #6. This is the first appearance of Wolverine's daughter, one that everybody's speculating on. This came out pretty hot out the gate. This right here is a completely a spec buy, because Wolverine's had daughters before. We don't see them in the comics, but this one, I myself, along with a great many people, were kind of excited about this new iteration, this new daughter. And on this one again, Signature Series, I had it signed by Charles Soule. Love his writing. He's been doing a lot of different stuff. Again, though, this is one that I guarantee I would have gotten a 9.8 if I would have had it pressed. And so I do know that there are a few other artists and that I like in here. I can't think of who they are at this particular moment. Let's see. So Brinson, Sakura, Brown, Frigier. Anyway, oh yeah, Art Adams did the cover. I love his stuff. And so, yeah, I probably will have this cracked and re-slabbed after it gets pressed. I'll probably get Art Adams' signature on here. And but again, lesson learned. Didn't have it pressed before I submitted it, and I probably would have been guaranteed a 9.8 if I had, because there's really nothing wrong with this book. And last but not least, we have Hawkeye #1, folks. And there again, got a 9.6. Pretty much guarantee if I would have had it pressed, it would have been a 9.8. But yeah, this one's signed by Matt Fraction. Of course, you know, he's the husband of Kelly Sue DeConnick, so they were both there signing. Love this run of Hawkeye. This is where he trains Kate Bishop. This is, of course, the storyline that they're basing the new Hawkeye TV series off of. So this is definitely a heavily spec'd book. Didn't buy this because of any type of spec. I just love this series. And to have it signed by Matt Fraction is even better. But again, like I said, if I would have gotten it pressed, I could have got a 9.8 on it. And but that's okay. I mean, you live and you learn. But there you are, folks. These are what I love to get when I go to Comic-Con. Is having books signed and having them submitted for the CGC Signature Series. I do have a number of them, and it's one of my favorite things to do. I get to meet the artist. I get to show them my appreciation for the work that they've done on some of my favorite characters. And then I got these nice pieces, which are forever enshrined in the grade that they are, as long as I don't leave them out in the sun, of course, or drop them in water. And then I also have the signature of that particular artist. And I always take their picture when I'm there doing that. And it just kind of encapsulates that moment for me. And so there you are. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. You got to see the unboxing as I got to see it. And I was just excited to be able to get my books back. And finally did. And so what do you think? I mean, is this something that you like to do? What do you think about getting artist signatures and the signature series? What is it you don't like about it? Leave me a comment. Let me know how you like this video. If you like to see something different when it comes to a CGC unboxing going forward, because I do plan on doing more of these as I submit books and go to different Comic-Cons. And that's one of my favorite things. That's something I really enjoy. Anyway, have a great night, folks. Make sure you support your local comic shops and read comics, because that's where all the source material for all this stuff that we love comes from. And let's keep it going, folks. Anyway, have a great night. Excelsior. We'll see you soon.